Hello, Oprah Daily Insiders. I'm Arlan Hamilton, founder and managing partner at Backstage Capital, a venture capital fund dedicated to minimizing funding disparities in tech. We do this by investing in high potential founders who are women, people of color, and LGBTQ+ entrepreneurs. Today I'm here to answer your questions on how to get your $1 million idea off the ground. Let's turn your passions into purpose. Let's start with a question from Carla. I'm just getting my business off the ground, and my focus is on growing awareness. I have limited funds, and I'm trying to decide where I should spend them. Do you have tips on figuring out where you should spend money when you don't have very much to spend? Yes, thank you, Carla. Yes, I think three things. One is you want to start by investing in yourself, no matter how much money you have. It's going to be the highest return on investment, or ROI, that you can have, is to invest in yourself. And what I mean by that is invest in education, go to events, go to conferences to meet other people who are doing similar things to you. So that's the first thing I would say. The second thing is, as soon as you're able to, try to find someone who can fractionally work with you, so on a part-time basis, hour by hour, as an executive assistant or some type of assistant, even if they're virtual, because they'll be able to help you take a lot off your plate that is probably getting in your way. And you want to spend every moment you can making money and making decisions that help you make money. The third thing I would say is you can do a lot of your own marketing by doing what is called content marketing. So as opposed to paid advertising, you can spend a little bit of money on having a nice background or setting up and having a nice camera and do videos that talk about your product or service, and then put them on social, put them on LinkedIn, and little by little you can build up an audience and a mailing list and use that as the jumping off point for getting your first 10 or so customers. Erica asks, do you have tips for riding the highs and lows of entrepreneurship? It's something that everyone has warned me about, but no one seems to be able to provide actual tips and tools for getting through them to stay in the game. Yes, so entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. That's why not everyone does it. You are one of very few people who is actually going out there and fulfilling a dream of yours to be an entrepreneur. So the first thing to know is that you're not alone. There are a lot of people going through the same thing you go through, even if they found success. There isn't one person I know, including millionaires and billionaires, who isn't also going through rough times. I think of it as a heartbeat. You're going to have a string of no's, a string of heartache, and then you're going to have that one really great yes that gets you through a really tough time. And so just kind of having that awareness that it is going to be tough is going to help you. Another really important thing is to know your why. Oprah says this all the time, right? Know your why. If you find yourself, which I have often found myself, feeling down, feeling frustrated, feeling like I may not be able to continue the work that I do, I always go back to my purpose. I always go back to my why. Why did I start this to begin with? Who can be positively affected if I succeed in this? That's always helped me. Our next question is from Maxine. I have been trying to get traction on my side hustle for a few years. My main obstacle is getting seen beyond my friends and family email list. Help. Yes. Oh, the first few people on your email list and first few customers are really the toughest. Once you can do that, you can find ways to grow from there. And the way you do that is by going out and testing your product or your service, doing surveys. There are things called lead magnets, which means you can put something up that is free, that is very valuable to the person looking at it. Maybe it's a one-pager, maybe it's a list, a top 10 list, something related to your product or your service, and you give it to them for free in exchange for their email. Then you have someone who is engaged and who already likes your content and who is starting to understand that you have an expertise in a certain lane. It just takes a little bit of practice, and it gets really fun because you can think of different ways that you can serve your audience and your customers without having to charge them. Patricia wrote, I am a Black female entrepreneur and about to start a raise. I've read all the stats and know that Black entrepreneurs receive very little VC funding. What advice do you have for Black entrepreneurs who want to buck this trend? It's a great question, Patricia. I started my work at Backstage Capital a decade ago because of this very statistic that Black and brown founders receive less than 10% of venture funding, and Black women receive less than 1% of venture funding. It's still pretty close to that statistic, unfortunately, but the good news is that it's actually getting better. In the decade that I've been working on this, there have been so many funds that have been started, so many venture capitalists who have come into the game who are Black and brown themselves and or who are allies who understand that investing in Black women is not charity. It is a high potential, high reward bet that savvy entrepreneurs are making. So what I would tell you is two things. One is try not to look at so many of the statistics and the anecdotes that you're reading about because some of them are outdated. We are here to break through those statistics. The second piece of advice I'd give you is to research who are the Black and brown investors now, because there are dozens of them. Meredith writes, I do not know any other entrepreneurs. I'd like to find a mentor or at least someone who I can bounce ideas off of. Any tips on where to look? Sure, yes. So this is part of the fun part. If you go to local conferences and meetups, that's a really great place to start. You're going to find people there who are also entrepreneurs, and a lot of times they're traveling solo because they're looking for their person, their partner. And that's a great place I've seen entrepreneurs find each other, is you go where other entrepreneurs are looking for resources and answers like you are. The great thing about this is that in today's world, there are also a lot of virtual meetups that are led by different tech platforms and accelerators. That's a great place to look as well. Kelly asks, when do you know if your side hustle has what it takes to be your hustle? Thank you, Kelly. That's a great question. I always say keep your day job as long as you need it. It's great to have insurance, it's great to have a steady paycheck, and to work on your side hustle on the weekends and at night or as your schedule permits. When you start to see traction with your side hustle that looks like it would make you more in a year personally than your current position, that is a perfect time to start thinking about your exit plan of working at your company. You don't want to do this prematurely. Use your current position as your first investor, even if they don't know it. For more content on finding your purpose, visit oprahdaily.com.